Hi YouTube, Internet author Bri Maxwell here with a reading of my short story, The Devil's Spot. I wrote this originally to test out some publishing mediums, mainly Smashwords.com, which so far has worked well, although I haven't actually gotten to a lot of customers, but that's mostly my fault. Anyway, I am continuing with my experiment in reaching customers, readers. That would be you, hopefully. Anyway, the idea is to read my short story, and if you enjoy it, you can go purchase it from any ebook reader, like its bookstore or Amazon, or you can purchase it directly from Smashwords.com. On the iReader sites, it's going to be 99 cents. On the Smashwords site, you can go buy it for whatever you think it's worth. So if you want to pay 50 cents, you pay 50 cents. If you don't want to pay anything, you don't pay anything. Anyway, there should be a link in the description if you would like, so take a minute, check it out. The drifter slipped into the convenience station while the clerk was busy with a particularly loud set of customers. He knew from experience that his appearance did not convey that he was a paying customer, and most clerks would watch him closely while he was in the store. He had a little money, bummed from the trucker who dropped him off. If he was lucky, it would buy him a hot meal. As he made his way to the men's room, he stumbled and knocked himself into a display rack of batteries. He cursed under his breath as he took a minute to straighten himself out. If the clerk was watching, he would seem drunk. The convenience store was big, set up with showers that truckers could rent. He strolled over to the hand sinks, splashing water on his hands and face, leaving traces of muddy water on his skin while he used the mirror to check the shower to see if any of the showering truckers had left their shoes on the floor. His own shoes, acquired in another truck stop shower room, were beginning to fall apart. He ignored his own reflection. His hair was unkempt and graying, his face hard and haunted, his shirt a grubby cast-off that once belonged to a mechanic named Mike. The reflection bore little semblance to the man he remembered himself as. None of the truckers had been foolish enough to leave their shoes lying about, so he slung the water from his hands and left the men's room. He trailed a line of water droplets from the men's room into the diner adjacent to the convenience store. He slid into a booth and picked up a menu. It was only when he looked at the menu options that he realized he had been here in his other life. The life before he became no one, drifting unseen across the nation's highways and byways. His life as a drifter included hundreds of convenience stations and hole-in-the-wall diners, but this one he remembered well. He looked around, taking into account for the first time the dingy little diner. It had changed with time. In his memory it had been a brighter place. The colors of the furnishings were now covered by a coat of ingrained grime that had not been present on that sunny day so many years ago. His reminiscence was interrupted by the arrival of the waitress. "Hi, welcome to Granny Annie's kitchen. What can I get you?" She smacked her gum as she talked, and scratched the base of her ponytail with the end of her pen. "Do you still serve Annie's famous rhubarb pie?" "It's our specialty, sir." "Bring me one, and—" He paused to peruse the menu. "A tuna noodle melt." He shook his head ruefully. The pie was an indulgence, but he was gripped by nostalgia. Memories were coming back to him in this place, memories of a time in life he could not return to. "I'll have some of Annie's famous rhubarb pie," the trucker told the waitress. "Anything else?" she asked him. He shook his head. "And what about you, honey?" she asked as he fidgeted in the seat opposite the trucker. "Oh, I don't really want anything." The trucker frowned across at him, then told the waitress to bring him a piece of pie, too. The waitress made a note in her ticket book and left. "It's a cardinal sin to come into a place this good and not eat something," the trucker told the young man. "Now, best tell me what you're about while we wait. You ambushed me outside, saying you had something important you needed to talk to me about. Now then, let's start at the beginning. Why don't you tell me your name?" He blinked. Surely he had introduced himself. But thinking back to his hurried scramble to get the trucker's attention, he could not remember if he did. "Daniel, sir." He felt the heat of a blush creeping onto his cheeks. "Daniel Crane." "My handle is Big Mike," the trucker stated. Daniel pulled a small notebook from the front pocket of his shirt and wrote a few notes. He looked up in time to see the trucker giving him an odd look and realized he still had not explained himself. "I'm a journalist. I work for a small magazine, and I'm doing a series of articles about urban legends." Big Mike snorted and sipped his coffee. Feeling in danger of losing the trucker's attention, he rushed on. "I'm gathering information for a piece about the radio phenomenon that occurs on 287. "The Devil's Spot? It's a load of bullshit. I've been down 287 hundreds of times. Ain't never anything but static." "That's part of why I'm asking you. I've talked to several of your compatriots. Anybody who claims to have heard it refuses to drive through the spot with their radio on." "What?" Daniel blushed again. "Other truckers." "Oh, why didn't you just say that? You want to ride along? I don't take hitchhikers." "I'm willing to pay you." He rolled his eyes. "Don't need your money, boy. I make the run from Dallas to Amarillo and back all the time, and I'm telling you there's no truth to it. It's just a story used to goose the new truckers. I suppose I'll make an exception to the rule this once. Maybe it will lay that nonsense to rest." "Oh, thank you, sir." Daniel rose and tried to shake his hand, but Mike waved it away. "I'll leave in half an hour, boy. It's a straight run through. Don't stop until we hit Dallas. If you ain't at my rig when I'm ready to leave, you can find someone else to take you. We don't stop, so make sure you can hold your bladder to Dallas."